Never seen video obtained exclusively by CNN's Tierney Sneed. You watch and see how obvious and ugly the former president's intent is. Started with lies about caravans of brown people coming for your women, taking your jobs, and bringing drugs, and ended with a mob of red hats convinced to attack the government, trumpeted as the cause of all that concern. The proof of his purpose is in his people. You'll see names: Sidney Powell, Rudy Giuliani, others, under oath, on camera, depositions. Lawsuit by a former executive with Dominion Voting Systems who claims he was defamed by the Trump campaign. Giuliani, Powell, prominent conservatives. The defendants are moving to dismiss the case. That's pending. But they did do the depositions, and on video you'll hear how they lay out the objective, namely feeding fears. Not with facts. Facts be damned. No proof of truth necessary. Case in point, a conspiracy theory that has been played mostly for laughs. Bizarre claim made on national TV. 2 American companies were working with a dead Venezuelan dictator. Absurd, yet absorbed. Listen.
We had a report that the heads of Dominion and Smartmatic, somewhere in the mid-teens, 2013, 14, whatever, went down to Venezuela for a get-to-know meeting with Maduro so they could demonstrate to Maduro the kind of vote fixing they did for Chavez.
Barely say it, let alone believe it. Fallen man. From America's mayor to Trump's stooge. A former federal prosecutor who says repeatedly he couldn't be bothered to verify whether any of the claims he was making were backed up by facts.
You say the heads of Dominion and Smartmatic?
Yes, that's what I was told. Before the press conference, I was told about it. Sometimes I go and look myself online when stuff comes up. This time I didn't have the time to do it. It's not my job in a fast-moving case to go out and investigate every piece of evidence that's given to me. Otherwise, you're never going to write a story. You never come to a conclusion.
First of all, it wasn't a case. It was and is a con. And Rudy likely knew it. Now, why would I say that? Because the Trump camp had a memo debunking the claims of election fraud, yet they didn't say a word. Under oath, Sidney Powell, forced to admit that getting to the truth was never an objective.
You had the ear of a number of conservative media outlets. Why did you not ask to provide a statement correcting that the misstatement that you had a recording?
That didn't seem to be the material part of the inquiry.
Material part. The truth wasn't material? Now look, you'll say, hey, look, in politics, they all lie. That's not true, but you can feel that way. I understand why you would if you don't have good reason to be cynical right now. But just know, if you or anyone decides to still put stock in Trump's sludge, you now know you are buying a bunch of lies designed to destroy confidence in government. Listen to the response to why the Trumpets would ignore a report that corrected their assertions done by the Department of Homeland Security on the integrity of the election.
I'm asking if the Trump campaign read this and considered it.
Not to my knowledge.
Why would they not have read this? It comes from the U.S. government.
Objective form and foundation.
Rudy's justification for spreading sputum is that everybody does it. So what we have here is a battle to the bottom.
I want to play some sound that CNN obtained exclusively. Rudy Giuliani, the
former mayor of New York City, the former president's lawyer, deposed in a defamation case dealing with Dominion voting systems and these other voting systems here. I just want to play the former mayor here. Let's see it.
We had a report that the heads of Dominion and Smartmatic, somewhere in the mid-teens, 2013, 14, whatever, went down to Venezuela for a get-to-know meeting with Maduro so they could demonstrate to Maduro the kind of vote fixing they did for Chavez.
You say that heads of Dominion and Smartmatic?
Yes, that's what I was told. Before the press conference, I was told about it. Sometimes I go and look myself online when stuff comes up. This time I didn't have the time to do it. It's not my job in a fast-moving case to go out and investigate every piece of evidence that's given to me. Otherwise, you're never going to write a story. You never come to a conclusion.
So we'd known some of that content before. It had been reported, but we hadn't seen it before. Giuliani basically saying he repeated things out loud at a press conference that he never bothered to check at all.
You know, in order to win a libel case like this, the plaintiffs have to show what's called reckless disregard for the truth. That deposition, to me, looks like the definition of reckless disregard for this truth. I mean, the idea that you will go out in public and damage the reputation, as Giuliani clearly did of these companies, without any sort of checking, without any sort of concern for whether what you're saying is true, seems to me clearly libelous. And I just think Giuliani may be on the hook for millions of dollars because, the libel is supposed to address harm to reputation. These companies' reputations were horribly damaged by these total falsehoods that he put out there with, it seems to me, reckless disregard for the truth. So I think these libel cases are going to be disastrous for him, and they may well be disastrous for the media outlets, including Fox News, that put it on uncritically.
What about his demeanor? What did you make about his demeanor and overall appearance? And how much does that matter in a case like this?
Well, if a case ultimately goes to a jury, it could matter a great deal because jurors evaluate how people behave and how they look and how they sound. And his complete failure, it appears, to recognize the seriousness of what he was doing and the impact of what he was doing and his complete lack of interest and lack of curiosity and lack of work in determining what he was saying was true or even had any factual basis at all other than something someone told him. It's just outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, he just said out loud, I didn't go check the facts at all before I repeated them.
At all.